always should have a whole bunch of this. I love this stuff. It's my favorite. There is other cast padding that we use. This cast padding only in really extreme cases if we don't have this roll cast padding. So there's roll cast padding and then cast padding. Okay?
I use that a lot in my clinic.
We have a whole bunch of this. Maybe I will use some of it. Okay, so cast padding, this is actually going to be for your cast. So you will use this when you do a cast, a hard cast, the fiberglass cast. Now if we just need to do a modified Robert Jones, really we can just use our roll cast padding. Okay? If we have wounds or anything like that, always apply something over it that's not going to stick to it. So Telfa pads are my favorite. That is what we use. Also tape, plenty of tape. And then elasticon, 1 inch, 2 inch, or 4 inch, depending on how big everything is. And then our vet wrap. Yeah, I probably will need. Oh, here's some. You get purple.
There's a couple more.
Yeah. All right, and then our roll gauze. Always need this. You'll need a lot of it. Use up a lot of roll gauze.
Porous tape as well?
Huh?
Porous tape?
Yeah, I have that. Yep. And then I need a tongue depressor. We'll grab one. Are all my tongue depressors in?
I don't think he would take those.
They're not in there.
I don't know why he would take those. We fix that. I can go grab some. Is it should have been a door should be in the door down there. Alright, I will grab some.
And this is one for now. Well, yeah, grab a whole bunch of them. Hold on, I'll grab a. I wonder if they're in here. Never mind. Nothing's in here. All my stuff's gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say pretty much everything. I got them pressers. Yay! Hold on. Yay! Say extra equipment. We labeled this so we could put whatever in there.
We labeled everything, but we could still never find anything.
Well, that's fine. Okay, so my tongue depressor. So we're gonna pretend we are gonna wrap a leg. I'll do a hind leg. Well, we'll see how he is.
So this is all the
He should be
material we
fine.
need?
Yes.
Okay.
For modified Robert Jones. This is gonna be more for a fracture, stabilizing a joint. Okay. So first layer. What is that called?
Cotton padding.
Okay. Cast padding. What do we call the first layer? How'd you label it all?
Primary
Remember?
layer.
Primary layer, okay. And our secondary layer, what's that called?
Secondary.
Secondary. What's our third layer?
Tertiary.
Tertiary, yeah.
Tertiary.
Depending on how you say it, don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so third layer, what is that usually?
The vet wrap.
Yeah, so protective layer, right?
Yeah.
And more to stabilize it. All right, so we're gonna do this hind limb here. So I need him in lateral recumbency. Doesn't matter which one. Sorry, bud. You gotta stay. Okay. All right, so always in a straight position when you are wrapping it. So you'll have to have a restrainer probably come up here. Hey.
Hey,
What? I'm not even doing. We're not even doing anything.
was it in an awkward position? No,
He gets a little. You're fine.
you're okay, buddy.
So at times you'll have to have your restrainer hold this limb so it's straight. We always start with our cast bedding. Yep. So just don't squeeze too tight because he is a wimp. All right. So our cast padding. Stop. You're fine. Go and give him some treats, please, while we're doing this. All right, so when you're putting on your bandages, always go with it on the outside, okay? It'll make it easier, believe me. You mistakenly do it the other way, kind of sucks. So always, sorry, I apologize. I forgot to do my stirrups. I always do stirrups with this. This will help me expose the toes. So it's 2 pieces of tape, a little bit longer. What you're gonna do, hey. Hold on, he can't get out of this because he's gonna realize that he can do this. Don't be afraid to hurt my dog, I don't care, you're not hurting him. But he needs to realize that he can't get out. You stop. You are fine. You can stay in this position. Yeah, he's fine. You can stay in this position.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Just be stern with him. He's a shepherd. You're fine. Just don't lean on his head too much.
Hey.
He's fine. You're fine.
Hey.
Treats every once in a while. All right. So it's a piece of tape on each side of the feet. Okay. Because this will help me expose the toes after. And it'll help it so it doesn't slide off either. Okay? And this is where I put my tongue depressor. Try and make it even, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Alright. Alright, so we start with our cast padding. Always have the toes exposed. So we never want to cover up the toes, not unless it is necessary. Let's say they had a toe amputation or something like that, but then we have to keep a very good eye on it, and the owners have to keep it dry and clean. But okay, so we evenly go up the leg. Making it as even as possible. It's usually always the full leg that we do if we're trying to stabilize or a joint or a fracture. So you always have someone helping you out too, like you as a restrainer. I need you to move your arm.
Okay.
Yep, need to modify stuff. And they are a pain to get stuff on. So you want to be a thicker layer always for your first one, so that's why I use the cast padding.
So do you double layer if you're using
I do. It depends. I do it so it's stabilized. So the first layer should for sure stabilize it. So if I have enough, I have.
So you go until the row is completely done?
I will.
Okay.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't need all of that. All right.
A bigger dog, you might use more.
Yeah, oh heck yeah. Believe me, you will. All right, so this is our first layer. Now, do my secondary layer. So I always start opposite, so wherever I end up is where I start my second layer, just so it holds the first layer.
That's your real gauze.
Yep. So see what happens when you accidentally let go of it. It's a pain in the butt. This one you want somewhat tight, but not tight. That's why I like roll gauze, because it's stretchy. So you can pull it a little bit tighter. Don't pull it to where it's really, really tight, because you don't want it too tight. This will hold a lot of stuff in place.
How much coverage are you doing over the previous bandage? Is it only about like 10%?
For what do you mean?
Over the previous wrap?
I do all of it. I'll do all of it.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. I meant over the, so your roll gauze, as you're going over, do you do like a 10% over the previous last roll, or?
It depends. You have to make it even.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
if
make
you're starting
everyone
at
do
50%, do
this.
50% if you're doing like 10.
Yep.
Okay, so just make it even.
Yeah, make it
So if we put
as
make
even
it
as you
even,
can.
you're fine with that?
Huh?
If we put make it even, you're fine with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, see how this is pretty even? It's
Mhm.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so I used all of that. Made that pretty. Alright, so then I need my restrainer to hold this for a minute. And then this is where I turn my stirrups up. Okay. Alright, so you twist it. So the sticky side, when we put it down, will be against this side. You're fine.
Good boy.
See now exposing the toes a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just literally taping it on the outside. Wherever you can tape it, doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be all fancy. So keep holding on to that.
Okay.
Make sure that's taped so all my toes are exposed. Now we can do our vet wrap.
Good.
So I'll start from the bottom. So vet wrap should always have a little bit of exposure because this can cause some, if it's contact with skin and it's rubbing against stuff, it can cause some irritation. So remember, this is more of our protective. We don't need to go crazy. We like to decorate these. And this too, make sure it's not rubbing. So I always make sure that I don't go over it. I might have to modify it a little bit just so it's all right. So there's my bandage, and I want to make sure. Usually for this, I'll try and get higher up. This one seems pretty good. Let's say I was trying to stabilize this joint. I have the joint above and below, so this is pretty stabilized. Okay. So make sure it's not rubbing, so when he moves or anything, it's not rubbing all the way up here, because I'll put it all the way up here at times. Usually you want to try and go as high as you can. Now, usually I'll use, like, he's a little bit smaller, so I'd probably do just the 2-inch, not the 4-inch. But I would take this and I would wrap it around here, because what happens? Does anyone know?
It's gonna fall down.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna
gonna fall
bite
down.
out.
Yeah, it'll fall down, gravity, even though I have it tighter. So I like my Teflon. Another thing too, taking a little bit and putting it down here for a little grippage. So they'll, you know, or if it's really down here, like putting it, if I have more bandage down here, putting it down here because it's good grippage.
Traction.
Yep. Yep, that's for sure. Another thing too is making sure that they are covering it up with a plastic bag if needed. All right, we're gonna make him walk.
Okay.
We're gonna see how he walks. He's gonna freak out. I don't want a picture. Oh no. So they can still walk with it. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible mom.
Why are you looking at me like that?
He has some long legs.
Oh, he does.
He does.
You're in the light. Hey, Junior, come here. Come here. Come here.
Says he doesn't
Yeah,
know
so
how.
he'll freak out. Hey, I want to get a picture of you, but not you. Hey.
You want to come this way?
Hey. Okay, I know. Oh, so hard. Are you good now?